Shockwaves hit the young and the restless as Sienna's mysterious phone call to Nick Newman deepens the mystery behind Noah's crash. At the hospital, Sharon grows uneasy after realizing Detective Burrow may not be who he claims. When Burrow secretly reports to someone else, it's clear a dangerous cover-up is unfolding. Meanwhile, Nick breaks into Noah's phone, desperate for answers, only to uncover more questions about Sienna's connection. In Genoa City, tension rises as Nate, Audra, and Victoria's awkward run-in fuels jealousy, and Jack warns Billy that Kane's downfall could trigger another Abbott family war. Welcome to Celebrity Gossip 24 Hours, where the drama unfolds and the stories captivate. Join us as we delve into the intriguing world of Young and the Restless, revealing the untold tales and hidden truths behind the headlines. The Young and the Restless recap. Friday, October 17th. Nick faces a mysterious call, a dirty cops game unravels, and new secrets shake Genoa City. Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless turned quiet grief into growing suspicion, shifting the show's focus from hospital heartbreak to criminal intrigue. While Nick and Sharon Newman struggled to protect their son, a fake-friendly detective exposed his own hidden agenda, and one strange phone call pulled Sienna Bacall into the center of the mystery. A detective's questions and too many red flags. Inside the Los Angeles hospital, Nick and Sharon clung to hope as Noah fought for his life. Their fragile calm cracked when Detective Burrow arrived with questions that felt more like accusations. Why, he wondered, was Noah driving alone on that stretch of highway in the middle of the night? His tone was polite, but there was an edge to it, enough for Nick to snap back that his son didn't owe anyone explanations. Burrow quickly softened his voice, insisting he was just collecting details, yet something about him felt wrong. He wouldn't show a proper badge, brushed off questions about credentials, and refused to identify the supposed witness who had reported the crash. Before leaving, he jotted down Nick's number for follow-up calls. The moment the detective disappeared, Sharon voiced what they were both thinking. He didn't act like a real cop. Nick agreed, his instincts as sharp as ever. But their unease deepened when Burrow stepped outside and made a call of his own, admitting to an unseen accomplice that he'd told Noah's parents exactly what they'd planned. "Yeah, they bought it," he said, his voice low and slick. Then he forwarded Nick Newman's personal phone number to whoever was on the other end. The so-called detective wasn't working for law enforcement at all. He was working for someone else, someone watching the Newmans very closely. A stranger's voice on Noah's phone. Back in Noah's hospital room, the tension grew thicker. Sharon tried to comfort her son the only way she knew how, reciting the alphabetical list of U.S. states, a silly childhood ritual meant to calm him. As she whispered the words, Nick sat nearby flipping through Noah's bag of belongings. That's when Noah's phone began to ring. The caller ID flashed Sienna Bacall, a name Nick barely recognized. He hesitated, then answered. The woman on the line sounded startled to hear his voice. When Nick revealed he was Noah's father and that his son was in critical condition, the line went silent for a beat too long. Sienna finally murmured that she was a friend and hoped Noah would recover. Then, without another question, she hung up. Nick stared at the phone, unsettled. Who calls a hospital, learns someone's fighting for their life, and doesn't even ask if they'll survive? Sharon tried to reason that shock might have made the woman hang up, but Nick couldn't shake the feeling something else was going on. Determined to find answers, he guessed Noah's passcode and unlocked the phone. Dozens of recent messages, mostly from unknown numbers, filled the screen. Sienna's name appeared several times, along with one text timestamped less than an hour before the crash. Nick called her back. The call rang once, twice, then straight to voicemail. On the other end, Sienna ignored it, pacing nervously as if she knew exactly why he was calling. Genoa City updates. Old flames and new jealousy. While the Newman parents navigated confusion in Los Angeles, things were heating up in Genoa City. During his morning run, Nate Hastings crossed paths with Audra Charles. The meeting was awkward. Old chemistry flickered between them, but Nate clearly had other plans. Moments later, Victoria Newman appeared, and Audra realized who he was waiting for. Victoria mentioned the news about Noah's accident, and Audra immediately began fishing for details. Her tone was casual, but the concern was obvious. Noah might be her ex, yet the feelings clearly linger. Victoria cut the conversation short, asking for a private word with Nate. As Audra walked off, she looked over her shoulder just in time to see Victoria and Nate standing a little too close for comfort. When she returned to retrieve a forgotten shopping bag, the sight of them laughing together made her jaw tighten. Whatever she once had with Nate was clearly slipping away. At the lounge, Jack and Billy try for peace. Elsewhere, the Abbott brothers attempted something rare, an honest conversation without shouting. Over coffee at the Jazz Lounge, Jack Abbott pressed Billy to confirm whether he'd truly turned against Kane Ashby. Billy admitted he had, claiming Kane's shady business practices crossed a line. The two agreed that constant feuding had exhausted the family and themselves. Jack confessed that reaching out to Jill Abbott wasn't about meddling, but about trying to open her eyes to Kane's manipulations. More than that, he hoped Billy might someday repair things with his mother. Billy wasn't optimistic. "That bridge is half burned," he said. But Jack reminded him that families have rebuilt from worse. The brothers ended their talk with an uneasy truce and a new mystery. When Jack mentioned hearing about a surprise investor at Abbott Communications, Billy changed the subject quickly. What Jack didn't realize was that the investor was Jill herself, quietly buying influence behind the scenes. The bigger picture, a web of secrets tightens. By nightfall, every storyline seemed to converge on one truth: nothing in Genoa City stays buried for long. At the hospital, Nick continued digging through Noah's phone. One contact name stood out, the same initials as the detective who'd interrogated them earlier. He began to suspect the two might be connected. Meanwhile, the real Detective Burrow, or whoever he really was, made another call to his shadowy partner, assuring them the parents are in the dark. Whoever was on the other end responded sharply, "Keep it that way until we know if the kid wakes up." The phrase hit like a warning shot. Someone wanted Noah silent, permanently or otherwise. Back in Genoa City, Victoria's growing bond with Nate stirred gossip, Audra's jealousy simmered, and Jack's uneasy peace with Billy hinted at fresh Abbott tension. But all of those dramas paled next to the mystery forming around Noah's accident. Friday's cliffhanger: trust no one. As the episode closed, Sharon dozed beside Noah's bed while Nick stood watch at the window, clutching his phone. A new text appeared from an unknown number. "Stop asking questions. Focus on your son." Nick looked around the empty room, realizing someone knew exactly where he was, and that the investigation he hadn't even started had already found him. Next on The Young and the Restless. In Monday's preview, Nick vows to uncover the truth about the man posing as a detective, while Sharon receives a cryptic message from Sienna that could change everything. Back in Genoa City, Audra makes a dangerous decision fueled by jealousy, and Jack discovers the identity of Abbott Communications' secret investor. Noah's accident is no longer just a tragedy. It's the spark of a much larger conspiracy that could expose old grudges, hidden deals, and a deadly connection between Los Angeles and Genoa City itself. For more of the latest updates and behind-the-scenes secrets from Young and the Restless, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell. Stay in the know with every new release.